All right, so here we go.
The MCCAA.
Community College Athletic Association.
This is Alex Cantu.
Cody Wood.
St. John's.
Out of St. John's High School. Tough program over there.
St. Clair County Community College, SC4.
SC4, they call them for short.
Wood was a two-time national qualifier. So that makes him a sophomore plus.
Sophomore plus with the COVID year. So. It's one of the things that was interesting throughout the recruiting process with Ira is going to all the different schools and seeing how they had to adjust their scholarship money and their recruiting practices because of all the guys that were getting extra years and things like that. So it's fortunate, that he is in the class of 2022 and not the class of 2021 because it was really difficult for that class at that level.
Well, of course, colleges, those colleges only have nine full scholarships and 9.9 for 10 weight classes. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but
yeah, it's tough. It's a tough gig, that's for sure. And there's a nice shot by Cantu. He's almost doing like a misdirection single, but not getting all the way across the. Oh, wow.
That's creative. Didn't exactly pan out. What was that, like a little arm spin?
So it's like a 2-on-1, like a Russian throw where you kind of shove the arm into the guy's chest, and it's more of a freestyle move. I don't know that it's legal to even do that at the college level, but he got away with it there.
Well, in a tied match, it seems like a pretty high-risk maneuver.
Yeah.
Gives up the takedown.
Cantu is he's a gunslinger, He likes to let it fly, and, that's live by the sword, die by the sword there, but, he's been shown to be able to get things going when he gets on top there.
Yeah, yep.
You definitely, like you said, you want to see, as a coach, you probably want to see a little bit more solid attacks at the beginning there.
So, minute, they just moved the time. Just under 2 minutes left, and he's chasing 1 point. When action resumes, they'll both be on their feet.
Yeah, it looks like Mr. Powers screwing up the clock over there again.
Mr. Powers.
You got Alan and Randy.
Just pushing buttons
over there, just pushing buttons. And Alan's blaming his dad for it.
Absolutely.
Hey, he did it. I didn't do this.
Alan Powers, not just another pretty face.
Alan was a national qualifier for the Jayhawks last year. Ended his season at Nationals with an injury, and essentially that was what kind of put an end to his wrestling career.
Sounds like he's going to be up in the Whitehall wrestling room fairly regularly.
Right.
He'll be a good addition up there.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Not sure how much he'll be able to wrestle. I think he just had surgery. Pass by attempt both ways there.
With the big guys we got up there, it's not sure how much you'll want to wrestle.
Yeah, right.
If you've got an injury going on, but having them in the room will be great to have a body to drill with. And, that's a nice advantage for a program like Whitehall that has such a rich tradition of guys that come through there and still give back to the program. It's good to see that.
That was quite a sequence there. Wood had a cradle all locked up.
Yeah. These guys both look like they're kind of letting it fly today. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Can he stretch?
If he can pull that leg in,
He's pretty high on that far leg.
If he goes back to one leg and tries to pull it in, he needs to straighten that left leg out and try to pull him back in bounds here. He can still score here. There we go. Now get your foot back. Oh. Yep.
Minute left in the first period, 2-1. Now these two they're cutting it loose.
Yeah, they sure are.
Now they've slowed the pace, little collar and elbow, 43 seconds. Now their feet are starting to churn a little bit. Both guys looking to get inside with the hands.
Cantu's controlling the elbow is pretty good. It's something that you can't really see if you're just, a spectator, but those things matter later in matches. If you're able to control the ties, you're going to get to your scoring attempts eventually.
Well, Cantu has on 2 occasions hit a reshot.
Yeah, he just got the SC4 guy dinged with Stallin there for backing out of bounds there. So.
I'm going to make a prediction that reshot toward the end of the match is going to score him some points.
Oh, for sure. You see how he's wearing on the head there too.
Yep.
Like this guy's he's got a slide by going here, but Alex not trying to give it up, but he did give it up there with 4 seconds to go.
That was Wood's 3rd attempt at the slide by. Yeah. Finally scored right at the end of the period. 4-1 will be the score.
So in that situation, I think Alex is going to have to look to stay out of some of them ties there, at least hanging out in them. That's when that move happens, right? Yep. When you're hanging out in ties, you're not keeping your hands active. You're going to get a move like that hit on you.
Another stoppage, a little confusion there at the table.
Like quite a bit of confusion over there today, but
I think the score is right, 4-1.
The score is right. I think it's the riding time and the clock. Oh, now we've got a quarter of a screen up there. There we go. If Coach Stenberg's telling you how to fix things, something's wrong.
Are you suggesting he's not tech savvy?
Tech savvy, no.
Oh, Cantu will be down. Wood will be on top. Cantu
has that nice Granby, so I'd like to see that here.
Yeah, he scored it. There's a roll.
Another reversal. He had a standing Granby there. So in college, even if that happened on the feet, that's 2. You can score reversals from your feet.
Well, that'll make it a 1-point match, 4-3 in favor of Wood.
And I'll tell you, as tough as Alex is on top, he could really take over this match if he's able to get his turns going on top. It looks like
trying a little Turk there.
And he's got a nice one in there. He's up on the chin.
Little chin ride. Hips falling off just a little bit.
Coming down to that right hip, but
and now he's got the other leg in. This will be interesting.
I swear, if he's able to get a power half in here,
he's going to need a power half because his hips are flat and the bottom man's hips are above his.
He's got to get that near wrist. He lost that near wrist, so now he's in a little bit of trouble here.
He lost his right ankle. That's going to turn it into a little bit more of a scramble than he wanted.
Now he needs to come up to that power half if he can. Suck him into his chest. He looks pretty comfortable here. He's not panicking, and that's what you like to see as a coach, is your guy getting in positions like that and not really panicking, but just looking to slow things down a little bit.
Is he hoping for a stalemate here? I'm hoping for a stalemate here.
Now he's got 2 legs.
Tiedemann wants a stalemate.
He does. Even though the coaching days are over, this fire is still there. Good recovery there by Cantu. That could have been ugly. He built up a minute 30 of
Is he going to get back points here right at the end of the period? He's going to have a 4-pointer.
Great sequence. Cantu comes out of this with 4 near fall and a minute 36 of riding time when really he could have gave up a reverse there.
Absolutely.
That was a really good sequence by Alex Cantu. And that's just showing maturity as a super sophomore, right? That experience just pays off. Great job by Alex.
So 7-4, a minute 36 of riding time, and Cantu's going right back on top. I'd like to see him take a little bit more care of his ankles here.
And this is going to be the first 30 seconds of this period are going to determine the match. You think, with a guy on bottom, knowing that he got rode out a whole period, if he's able to ride him out for the first 30 seconds here, maybe even get a turn, it's going to be pretty demoralizing.
Oh, yeah. 20 gone.
Those St. John's kids don't quit, though.
No.
So.
Cantu had the wrist and lost it.
More than 30 seconds.
Had the wrist and lost it. It looked like he was trying for either a
Yeah, really,
Ball
no,
and chain.
he's got riding time locked in, so really it's an 8-4 match right now. Let's see if he can get a turn here. I mean, now he's at a point where he gets another turn and it's a major decision, right? So if he can hold him for 4. It looks like he's going to get a fall, though. He wants more. There we go. There we got
and the
fall.
pin.
What a great match by Cantu there. You know, even though he gave up the takedown right there at the end of the first period, 4-1, you know, you're thinking, man, I'm in trouble here, but not him. He just kept wrestled right through the positions, got on top where he's tough, and put it away.
Like we said at the opening of the first duel, those back points come in batches of 4.
Yeah.
You can go from being in a little trouble to well ahead in a very short period of time.
Yeah, it was a great match. You can tell he's definitely matured as a wrestler over his time here at Muskegon. It's good to see that.
I'll bring up 133, Kanan Gracie out of Marysville. Looks to be a freshman. He was a state qualifier out of Marysville last year.
Yeah. Marysville's a tough Division II program down there. And
the Jayhawks will send out
Jacob Blauwat.
Blauwat, the Rocket.
Yeah, 2-time All-State for Reese Puffer.
This will be his first match for the Jayhawks, won't it?
Second. Well, he got a forfeit.
Got a forfeit,
yeah. Yeah, so first actual match. Still has the neon shoes and the green headgear, so.
That's a good look.
Yeah, you know, if it works for you, it works for you. You know, you just, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it.
Worked for him in high school.
Yes, sir.
Little cleanup on aisle 9 right now. Of course, that's a grocery shopping joke. Not everybody will get that one.
No, not anymore. Most people don't even go to the grocery store.
I know.
Anymore. Pull up and they load them up for you, or somebody delivers.
Shipped order. Where's Marysville?
It's kind of up by the Thumb area. Austin Thompson. I don't know if you remember him. He's a couple-time state champ, wrestled at Michigan State. He was from Marysville. Some other guys from their pretty decent program. They always turn out 2 or 3 good guys every year. Kind of by Port Austin area, Imlay City.
Okay.
Somewhere in that area there. Blauwat's always been a very aggressive wrestler. It's something you like to see. And right off the bat, you see him, run that guy out of bounds, and he's got a stall call against the SC4 wrestler there.
Yep. And Blauwat always kind of wrestled that bully style. You're going to try to push around and set a pace.
That's a nice sweep single by Gracie there. Blauwat, see if he can work his way out of this. He's going for a scramble, but it looks like he gave up the...
Gracie into a cross wrist, little hand fight going on. Blauwat trying to clear his left arm. He's got him cleared. Can he build? Blauwat, a lot of activity on bottom.
That can create some points for you if you stay active like that.
Well, he's got a corner started.
And we got a reversal there. Great job by Blauwat. Stay active on the bottom there. You don't score points sitting still.
Yeah, that's true. He turns tight circles on the bottom.
He does. I can't remember if he started out at 103 or 112 in high school, but stayed fairly small throughout high school.
He's going to score here.
He's got himself in trouble. He's got to give him 2 near fall there. That's
A little loose, but he did the job.
Watch sitting on that ankle there, it always makes you nervous. Now he's got himself in a little bit of trouble with the guy having his ankle there, but he might, if he can scoot his hips out front, he might be able to get force.
Well, he's close to back. He's close to back points and a reversal.
Yeah, there it goes.
43 seconds left in the period, and we're tied, 4-4.
Let's see if he's able to repeat that nice switch that he had earlier. Looks like he's going for a Granby here. He might have it.
He might have it if they can stay in bounds.
Like he's got it. There it is. That's 2.
It's going to be a bunch more.
Maybe a fall if he can keep his feet in bounds and just rock up towards his head. Now, you don't want to give up any points here with 13 seconds. So if he can get on that leg and drive him out of bounds.
Smart getting on the leg. 7 seconds left now.
There, he just with a second to go before he got hit for stalling, was wise enough to get that foot out of bounds.
2 seconds left in the first period. 8-4 Blauett. Blauett with his hands over his head. We've talked a lot of times on this show. Your first match of the year might make you look like you're a little out of shape, blowing out the lungs. Sure, he's in great shape.
Yeah, you mix that with nerves, right? And
yes,
you get tired real quick.
Yes. So it'll be interesting. We got 4 minutes to go here.
For people at home watching that maybe never wrestled before, if you can equate it to the first time you ask a guy or a girl out on a date, that's usually how your stomach feels before you go out onto the mat.
Well, and nervous energy is real energy.
No matter how good you get, right?
Yep. Blauett in a little trouble here. Try to put the leg in.
Yeah, I'd like him to watch that knee a little bit. That's always makes you nervous as a coach.
He has the cradle locked.
It might come through here. This is a nice, if he can scoot his hips out, he's getting back points. He might be able to work into a pinning combination, but now he's in a little bit of trouble here. He's either going to have to, if he recovers from this, wow.
That was pretty
phenomenal.
Good work. Pretty good hips.
Another 4 near fall there to start the second period.
12-5.
Cuts him loose and wants to get some more points here. Nice shot.
Blauett in on that single leg, stalled out, but he's still churning.
Working up, trying to cut back here into a dice double. And there we are with a takedown near fall. We might get a fall here if he's able to get that.
Boy, he had him pretty close to.
Yeah, that was nice. Great transition for Blauett to switch off to that double leg and get his feet off the mat. That kind of helps you eliminate the scramble situations. So.
He came out looking for a front head. I think not sure about the tactics there. Gave up the reversal. Could have been 1 and 2. 14-7. Stalling call.
He's going to have to find a way to dig deep and finish this match out. Looks like he's
really fatigued right now.
Hit the wall a little bit here. He's going to have to find another level for this third period. If anything, just stay in good position, like even if you're tired, just stay in good position, hand fight, get through the match, you don't have to win by 100 points, you just got to win by 1.
Oh, you got 2 minutes and a 7-point lead.
You got 56 seconds of riding time. He took top, so I mean, you can't rest down here. That's the thing, like we talked about earlier, right? The 4 near fall in college is the great equalizer.
Yep. And the kid out of Marysville, he knows how to wrestle on top. He can't stay still. Immediately to his butt and back. He's got a corner. Can he? Nope. Got flat.
Got flat, but that action there is good because it's just taking more time off the clock by Blauett staying busy. You just want to not put yourself in a position where a guy can catch you on your back when you're tired because it's a recipe for disaster.
Yep. Gracie is on that left arm. He has the cross wrist, and now he's combined it with a chicken wing.
It's tough to see if he's actually got the wrist.
He does.
Does he? Okay. Now he got it free, so. Yep. I'm going to be surprised if Blauwhite ends up getting dinged with another stall call here, but at this point you can take that.
Yep. Now, well, he's built his base. He's in a spiral ride now back to his hip.
Oh, there we go.
He's clear.
Nice.
And the marbles. Can he get a fall here?
Blauwhite really kind of snuck that one in.
This little chin whip.
Playing possum, you know?
I don't think so.
It looked like he was tired. Oh, we got to be careful here, but
he was tired, but he kept wrestling.
That was super slick by Blauwhite. I think he's going to
hit him again.
I just don't know if he's got enough.
Not the horsepower. The horsepower's not there, but a 20-9 lead.
Wow, what a sequence.
He found a second wind. We call that chin whip an attention getter.
Yeah, that'll.
He just got hit with a delay of match. Taking too much time coming in, but the scoreboard doesn't reflect it yet. 20-10.
They gave him
they did?
Point. Yeah, it was 20-9.
Okay.
So you got to keep the head off the mat here. 36 seconds to go. You just want to make sure you're not getting yourself to your hips.
Yep. Looks like he tried that same turn out, turn in. It just there's no pop left in his hips.
Yeah.
Can he weather the last 25 seconds of the match?
I think if you're Gracie here, not that we're trying to give the other team advice, but you don't want to hang out on top if you're not turning a guy, right? You're down by 10 points. You got to cut him and try to get a ball.
Yeah, he's fatigued. So, I think got to cut him.
Advantage Muskegon on that one.
Absolutely. As time expires and Blauwhite wins it by 10. That was a good effort. Their first match of the season.
For coming out like that and up a weight class, he's looking darn good.
Legs a little jellified.
Yeah, you can see that there.
I'm sure he'll rest and recover and come back and look great in his next match.
Decision brings the match score to 10-0 for the Jayhawks.
It'll take us to 141 pounds. Jake Elisevich from Montrose.
State champ and runner-up or third. He placed 3 times that state. I know his junior year he won it. And I don't know that he was able to wrestle senior year because of the COVID. He might have been another one of those COVID kids.
3-time medalist, 1-time state champ out of Montrose. They do a little wrestling down there. He'll take on Chris Perez.
Match. You've got Elisevich. He's a division below Division 2, but he's a wiry guy. And you got Christian, who he wrestles good in a lot of positions here. So I expect to see a really good match here.
Elisevich definitely has him out mustached in this match.
Yeah, he sure does. That might give him a few more bonus points when it comes to strength.
Yep. Hard to beat a guy with a mustache like that.
Had probably one of the best mullets in all of high school wrestling while he was in high school.
Well, if he could pair that mullet with this mustache, he'd have something.
His mullet was on point. There's really nothing that could top it. You're standing on top of the podium. You just won a state title, and you have the best mullet on the planet.
You're winning.
You're winning.
Winners win.
Yeah. So now he's gotten a little older and able to grow a mustache, so he's got that in there too. So
feeling each other out here. Single leg, head outside, single leg. Can he convert? Yes.
Yeah, he did. Drag those toes. Able to get the takedown there.
Oh, he covered some ground on that finish.
Yeah, he sure did. And that's just, you can see the experience there. It's a higher level of wrestling. This is a state title level of match here.
2 minutes left in the first period. Perez to his feet, tries to turn in, nothing there. There's a lot of humanity coming at us just then. I don't know if you felt the floor rumble.
Yes, I did.
Penn State, Michigan goes to halftime. Michigan ahead 7-6.
Go Blue.
We are.
Losing.
I keep forgetting, as long as one of my guys is at Michigan, I can't be a Penn State fan anymore, for the next 4 at least. Lasevich on top, controlling the top position. 2-0. I did tell Ira if I'm going to be a Michigan fan, I'm going to need some gear. I got enough.
Yeah, that'll happen for sure. We'll get that gear.
Perez with the escape.
2-1 now. Minute to go in the first period. Lasevich was able to stack up about 52 seconds of riding time there, so that'll be something to keep an eye on in the next couple periods in a close match like that. That can be the difference. Lasevich doing a good job keeping his hands active. Like to see some solid attacks from Christian here. That's not it.
Yep, nope, that was too far. No
far
setup.
Away. A guy like that, you're not going to score a takedown on a guy like that from that far away, and he'll figure it out. He always does, but right there.
There it is.
That re-attack would have been a nice transition. But
Well, both guys are attacking from distance.
they sure are.
And Perez just about exploited that.
Yeah.
That one was not from
Now,
distance.
this is where Lasevich got to be careful here, because if Christian can get his hands behind the armpits here, he might score too.
They run out of time. 2-1.
When you got a guy that's that tall, you shoot that high crotch and just kind of stop there. Those tall guys can kind of swing those legs around and put something in and makes it look like they got the points, and then all of a sudden they do.
Yeah, little hip scoot, and all of a sudden you're giving up 2 points.
I don't think there's anything more frustrating being a short guy that's really good at a high crotch that gets scored on every time you try to shoot on a tall guy.
Perez goes down in the second period.
So that riding time's going to build up for Lasevich here. So Christian's going to have to find a way to get off the bottom here and start scoring some points from his feet.
To his feet and clear.
There, just as we said it. Must have been listening.
Yep. If I would have said it, it wouldn't have happened. You have the magic touch. 2-2.
I don't know about that.
See if either one of these guys can close the gap a little bit. I don't know if
They seem to be content with wrestling from space there, and then just as we say that, they start going at a couple.
Oh, there was a high. That was a big time high crotch.
Yeah, he's got a really nice high crotch there. This time it looked like he was more careful to get higher up in the crotch instead of hanging down by the knee. Didn't want to get in any scramble situations. So great job by Lasevich there. And he's been the aggressor here, and I think in big matches that's typically what determines the guy that stays in good position is more aggressive.
Well, they get back to their feet. If Christian's not going to be more assertive, he's going to have to keep him at distance.
Yeah.
30 seconds now. Riding time.
It'll be interesting to see what Christian can do on top too if Lasevich takes down here. Christian's typically been pretty tough on top.
One turn will give him a 2 point, 1 point lead with riding time.
Yeah, that's all you need. 1 point lead with no time left.
Here you go.
Let's get this one here. That would be great.
One would make things way more interesting. Kenny, 10 seconds left. Gonna have to hand fight there and get his toes on the mat.
It looks like
he's clear. 5 seconds left now. And looking for more in deep.
No, that's I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
You're looking at getting some points there at the end of the period. It wasn't a terrible shot. Lasevich just happened to catch Christian's arm there, and that could have gone either way. But man, way to get that escape with 15 seconds left when your leg's up like that, you're bouncing around. He found a way to get his leg free and get out of there. Now it's anybody's match.
Lasevich with a 1 point lead, 2 with the riding time, 4-3. Perez in a pretty good spot here with Lasevich flat, now builds.
He can keep the pressure on his hands. I could see Christian getting a turn here, so. Samford is upsetting Florida with a whopping score of 42-35 at halftime.
You said Samford, not Stanford.
Samford and Sons.
42 points on Florida.
42-35 at halftime. Do they not play defense?
Any team bring their
Florida
defense?
anymore?
Hey, here's Perez. He's in a pretty good spot here.
Yep. He needs to get back behind them hips, though. There we go.
He's got riding time under a minute and a half.
Now we got Ilasevic dinged with stalling, too. This is a good sign for Perez. If he can just keep this pressure on,
There's a minute left. Ilasevic gets to his feet, but they run out of bounds. 58 seconds left, 4-3.
10 more seconds off the clock, and Ilasevic loses his riding time as well. So this is a good thing here. We just need to get one turn, and then we only need 2 swipes instead of 4.
Perez lined up on the left side. Doesn't get the wrist off the whistle.
Yes.
Roll there, now we're getting funky.
The guy wants to roll here.
Riding time no longer a factor.
Gone.
Well, maybe
now
still a
we just
factor.
gotta watch out with this reversal here. If he can get some pressure forward, that was perfect.
That was perfect.
Getting a stalemate call there was a lifesaver for Perez. Now he just needs one turn here, and you got to make a decision at this point. If you think you can turn him, then turn him. If not, then you're gonna have to cut him with about 20 seconds, 30 seconds to go, and try to get a takedown to win the match or
30,
tie it up. I mean,
30 seconds now, decision time.
Right. You know, you gotta make something happen here. You can't.
No difference between losing by 1 or 2.
So at this point, I think you got to cut him
20
and try to get a takedown. But yeah, you can't. It's much easier to lay on your belly and not give up a turn than it is to not give up a takedown.
10 seconds now.
When you got hit with stalling, I really think you should have cut him there, but it looks like it's going to cost him the match too.
4-3.
4-3.
Well wrestled match on both sides of the mat.
Brings the match score, the duel score, to 10-3. Great match there by 2 really good wrestlers. Like I said, and that's a factor too. I think Perez dinged his foot up last week, so maybe he was a little nervous about going on his feet there.
Yeah, walking pretty gingerly coming off the mat.
That's something I had forgotten about, but overall, what a good match. You got to give yourself a chance there with 30 seconds to go.
Right.
Cut him.
SC4 will void at 149.
Foot me danged.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to get points. So now we're up to 149, and it looks like Jimenez is going to get a void. Julian Jimenez out of Holland West Ottawa's program.
Now, Craig Stewart made it a point to correct me after last Friday night. He berated me. I'm sure he'll be watching this.
What about?
The name is pronounced Jimenez. Jimenez. Like Jimenez. I got no fewer than 7 text messages about how I disrespect that boy by calling him Jimenez. So now he can text you.
I think I lost his number.
I'll give it to him. For the record, I did pronounce it Jimenez Craig Stewart from Grand Haven. Don't call me. Don't text me. Jimenez.
Julian, don't call me Jimenez. Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Right?
Yes. I sort of expected to see a text. It's not from Craig, but.
So we got a forfeit there, 16-3 now. The Jayhawks over SC4. Looks like Cale Punts pulled a forfeit as well, so now we're up to 22.
Well, SC4 does have somebody listed at 157. Maybe he wasn't available.
Let's see who they're pulling out. Looks like 157, 65. Looks like they're checking somebody in.
Is this 57 or 65?
This is 165. Bunts took a forfeit at 57.
Okay. Then this will be Sean Creta from Port Huron Northern.
Creta, Port Huron North.
Creta with the no sock look.
Yeah, ankle socks with the wrestling shoes. Only thing he's missing is the double knee pads. That's the next step up. There's levels to this.
There are. That's next level.
It is.
Who is this for the Jayhawks?
This is Paulo.
Paulo Dragon.
Paulo Dragon.
He had his back to me. I couldn't tell.
And that's the thing. I think if you're coaching Paulo, you want to see him stay in a little bit of a better stance coming out of those attacks. But, you know, at the same time, you do like to see activity from a kid, so you don't want to mess with their confidence too much by telling them too many things, right?
In my world, it's just a simple hand placement thing.
That's it, you know.
As I say that, the right hand behind the lead knee, like there's just nothing protecting that lead knee, and it just slows everything down.
They're going to bring the English teacher out of Craig here. We're going to hear some scolding here soon.
Well, there would be a conversation, I can tell you that.
Yes. Might have to have a parent-teacher conference here soon.
And all Paulo would really have to say is, Coach, I can take you down, but I'm not the goal. Oh, there's a...
that was a nice transition. I think that's the go-to for him.
Yep.
The little slide-by to a double leg. That
looked
was a beautiful
like Sean might have got hurt his finger or wrist. He was shaking his hand as he was on his way down, wincing in pain. Krita flat, not really building. There he goes. Maybe a shoulder. 1:48 left in the period.
Official today is Eric Heberstreit.
Eric Heberstreit. I called him by the wrong name last Friday. I got the Heberstreit part, but I think I called him Brian for some reason.
Brian? Wow.
Maybe?
He doesn't even look like a Brian.
Not even close.
Eric was a former Jayhawk wrestler, transferred to the University of Michigan after that.
I didn't know that.
He sure did.
I thought he went to the military after this.
No, he actually, then he went to the Coast Guard later. Or Navy, Coast Guard, one of the two.
Did he wrestle at Michigan?
He did.
Little fun facts I get when I hang around Tom Jenkins.
He's one of the premier officials in this, in the country, in the state of Michigan. He does a lot of Big Ten tournaments, Big Ten matches.
One of my favorite clips to watch, sometimes I just watch it because I like it, is the Brands brothers getting on his case.
On Eric's case? Yeah, Eric's not one to be cased on. He has these little techniques that, if you're barking at him from the bench, he'll strategically place his backside in front of you so you can't see the match that's happening. You watch. If one of these coaches gets on him, you'll see the technique come out. It's real salty.
It's the little things.
It's salty, just really intelligent.
It's a microaggression.
It's a.
Is that a macroaggression?
I think it's a little bit higher level than a micro.
Hey, we live in a world of levels.
Yes.
Paulo with a ball and chain.
Near fall happening here with Paulo. This guy's going for kicks to the face now. He's like, you know what? We're done wrestling.
We're done wrestling.
I am not going to be giving up no more back points. If I have to kick you in the face.
Hey, it's all level, 6-0.
Paulo kept his composure, got the near fall, and now is back on top with a nice crossface to remind him that, hey, this isn't boxing or.
He's got the carotid artery covered pretty well.
I think he's over it. Did he get
back points there?
We gave him two near fall.
8-0.
With the good call. 6-0. That was only one period, Tiger.
And they're calling it 8-0. Randy Powers over there with the slow finger taps.
With the mask.
8-0.
Unless I missed a near fall somewhere, it looks like 6-0 to me, but we'll take it.
Nobody's asking any questions over on the other side. They're going to start back on their feet.
No, they're right. They gave him 4. The second near fall was 4, so it is 8-0.
Oh, a quick stalling call. That's a 3-second stalling call.
Yeah, I don't think Eric appreciated the kick to the face either.
Maybe that microaggressions.
He was like, all right, here we go.
Well, Paulo can come out with his right arm and just cover the half. He'd be in pretty good shape.
What'd you call Paulo earlier?
I think I called him Pablo. I have a student whose name is Pablo, and I think that's why. You don't get a lot of Pablos.
No.
And I misspoke. Thanks for pointing it out.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
While we were on the topic, I figured.
Of microaggressions. I almost called him Pablo again just right then because you put it in my head.
Yeah, I apologize.
Paulo rather interesting ride here.
I mean, here's my theory. You're going to see the guy from SE4 try a roll? No, just kidding.
I think he was just happy to be off the mat.
Throw that one away.
Paolo, now he has the wrist.
Now, it looks like the kid from SC4 is getting frustrated, and that's a pretty understandable thing when you're getting dominated in a match and you're trying to figure out what to do in situations. You really don't have the tools in your tool belt to make a difference at this point.
Sometimes you got to kick somebody in the face.
Keep fighting, Maybe not kick him in the face, but you got to do something like that. You get
to his feet and the escape.
Giving himself a chance. There's one thing you can say, that this kid is fighting.
Signs of life. They're on their feet. 21 seconds left in the second period.
Remind him it's not Mortal Kombat. You can't do kicks to the face here. Nice
There's
double leg
real
surprise.
double leg
Big
and a finish to back points.
Back points.
Got a 3 count.
So that's 2 and...
That should do it. That's the tech fall. Paolo Dragon, 16-1.
Tech fall brings the match score to 27-3 now in favor of the Jayhawks. Good match there.
How do you feel about Paolo's pink shoes? The pink stripe Asics.
Are those pink?
They're pink.
Sure.
He might tell you they're salmon, but they're pink.
They look pretty salmon to me. Pink salmon. Look like a pink salmon.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I asked that same question to Mike McKelly last Friday. He was indifferent.
He said that on the air, but he hated them.
I think he has strong feelings about the pink shoes.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not a fan.
If Paolo can win in them, though, I think you keep wearing them.
Yeah. You look good, feel good. That's one thing. That's a battle that it's one of those things where you say, hey, a wiser coach says, right, pick your battles.
That's not one. No.
That's not one.
Yeah, right.
If a kid feels good in pink shoes, go out there.
He's wrestling good in pink shoes.
He's going to hit double legs like that?
Yeah, right.
Pink it up.
They look fast, pink shoes.
You need pink socks? I'll go buy you some.
174 will have Connor Raymond from Vassar High School from SC4.
We got Josh Kinney.
Physically, these two standing next to each other, they don't look like an even match. Kenny, apparently at Granville, they have a weight room.
Yep.
Not that Raymond doesn't look like an athlete, but the shoulders on Kenny, I'm intimidated over here.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other. Josh Kinney, I fully expect at least All-American. He has the showings of somebody that could be a national finalist and make some big noise at the national tournament. Key is there, just staying healthy, and getting into some of these tougher matches later in the year. But he's definitely, early on here, has the makings of somebody that can make some noise at the national level.
Is Heber Street over there telling Brunger to keep his mouth shut?
I hope so. I could hear it from here even with my headphones on. I'm just kidding, Mark. You're doing great.
You're doing great. Microaggression.
Yeah, he's used to that from me.
Can't even do an underhook. Walks Raymond toward the out-of-bounds circle.
One thing I like to see from Kenny is he does jack that underhook up while he's walking out, but then you see him snap down, look to front headlocks, and he's always staying active. You see the fakes, then he gets into his high crotch there.
That was a for-real mat return.
Oh my.
That was close.
Somebody was paying attention in judo class.
Somebody, yeah. Raymond, he's game. Little fireman carry dump there, two backs.
So smooth with the transitions, it's really fun to watch,
There's still a toe and the fall.
All he had to do was pull his feet in towards himself and he would have got out of that pinning position, but that's just experience.
That's experience.
Another great match, as short as it was by Josh Kinney. It's just, you can see he's on another level than a lot of these guys.
A lot of positives in that short period of time. Really transitions, positions.
Going to be a fun season for that kid.
Now we're to 184. Christian Ward, a two-time state medalist out of Oscoda.
Yeah, so Oscoda produced a two-time All-American for the Jayhawks and one Donovan Pouchet at 197 pounds. He was an Oscoda grad. Not sure why he didn't send Christian Ward over here to Muskegon Community College, Donovan. I'll call you later about that one. But
can we revoke his Jayhawkness for that move?
No, he was too good a one.
Okay.
But
we'll leave him on the list.
He ended up transferring over to Missouri Valley College and ended up All-American for them twice. So he was a 4-time All-American in college. So really good wrestler. We got some hand fighting going on here, and Eric does not like that.
Is this Jewel for the Jayhawks?
This is Bronson Jewel, Grand Haven grad, and so
duck under try there.
This is the old adage, right, of your argument. Everybody argues, oh, Division I, Division IV, Division III, they're not the same. They think there's a big jump. And you and I know, being around high school athletics in Michigan for as long as we have, it really doesn't matter the division. It's more of the wrestler, right? You know,
absolutely.
It depends. You know, having the Zirips at Whitehall, you know, you kind of know that D4 can produce some darn good wrestlers, right? So, this is Division I, Grand Haven High School. Bronson was a regional qualifier, and then you've got Ward, who was state placer in Division IV and Division III for Oscoda.
You know what else Bronson Jewel was? He was a 3-time state place winner and 1-time runner-up in powerlifting, and we saw
him just power lift Mr. Ward.
A lift, clean, and return for the 2-point takedown.
The thing of it is you can tell Bronson's a very disciplined athlete, you know, and that's really what he is. I wouldn't say he's just a wrestler. He's an athlete, right? And you know the difference. There's a guy that is out there that's athletic, that learns how to wrestle, and then there's a guy that's a wrestler that becomes athletic. And he would be the former, and the guy that was an athlete that became a wrestler. And he's really getting better every week. You can see the improvements in his positioning and stuff. He really cares about it.
Do you remember where he placed last weekend? Did he? He won it. We've covered this. Yeah.
Yeah, he won the tournament last week. So, and I mean, that was against some good competition. He's just, if you look at him, boy, he's a specimen. He takes care of his body. He has proper nutrition, and he's learning how to tilt people that are state placers. You know, that's a big deal.
We got a 4-point with that tilt.
I'll tell you, Muskegon's going to be really tough to beat from 174 up. There's some tough guys there.
A little concerned that Bronson has listed the SpongeBob movie as his favorite movie, and he doesn't have a book listed as his favorite book. We're going to have to work on that, I think.
Well, that just means he enjoys life, Craig. I mean, not everybody has to be reading books all the time to have fun, you know?
Yeah.
If a guy wants to watch SpongeBob instead of reading a book, I like that guy. That's it.
I'm down. I don't want to watch movies with him, though, or discuss literature.
What do you got?
And I also don't want him Matt returning me. Those 3 things. Other than that, we can be good friends.
Yeah. Maybe you could suggest a book to him.
I don't want to offend him. He might power lift me.
Maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger wrote a book.
There you go. Bronson. When you watch this,
he probably already has read that one.
Probably does.
Or at least he knows the content.
Yeah, he'll recognize the name. 6-0 at the end of the first period. 2:10 of riding time for Bronson.
Boy, oh boy, this kid has gotten so much better in the last 3 years. Watching him, you know, because we got to see him in high school against Venema a couple times, you know, and now at the college level, he's just getting better every day.
Yeah, I'm looking at his wrestling, his high school. He was a 1-time regional qualifier in high school.
Senior year. He's just a tough kid.
And he's out there.
See, Ward is tough on top here,
right?
I mean, I don't think.
Okay. This is going to make things interesting.
Yeah.
Jewel trying to get his hips through. Going to have to figure out a way to get one of his arms through.
If Bronson's able to arch, get himself some space, we might get out of this. But this is where the athlete into a wrestler.
He's going to come out of there.
The thing is, he's got to punch through and keep coming, but I think he's going to be all right here.
Got his right arm through. It's just barely trapped.
He's gone. He's out of there. What a
The
great
stones on this
job.
kid.
Yeah, you know, you look at that, and that was just willpower, right? That's not wrestling. That's not skill. That's just fight.
We used to call that want to.
Exactly.
Hard to coach, want to.
Yeah, you know, and there's a kid that wants to win.
Yep.
You know, and
Well, he's going to end up in the same spot if he doesn't get his hips moving. There's 30 seconds left in the period, and he's in it for real hammer lot.
yeah, and this is where that experience comes in, you know. But you think he gets out of this period, he's going to be fine. I think you'll see if Ward has choice here. I'm guessing he's going to take top,
I think I would.
but we'll see.
Is it Ward's choice, or were we not sure?
I did not pay attention to see who had choice first after the first period. So it looks like it is neutral.
He chose neutral.
There we go. Good choice.
I think, didn't Ward chose neutral?
No, we did.
We did. Now, Jewel needs to stay within himself, needs to stay in a good stance, still with a 2-point lead. While he doesn't have to take a bunch of risks, he does have to stay in good position.
Yeah, and I think with his double leg and he was the better wrestler on their feet for the first two periods, with the exception of that, you know, hammer lock that.
There's a double leg, pounded off that one.
I think he'll be able to, you know, fight him off here, get takedowns here.
Almost got the corner there, just couldn't quite block off that left arm.
I know based off of Fouché wrestling with us that Ward can throw. You know,
Okay.
They got a pretty good freestyle Greco thing going up there in Oscoda. So Bronson will want to be careful here if we get down to the nitty gritty and it comes down to something like that. But
1 minute left.
I'm confident that Bronson's going to be able to get in on those legs and get a shot. You know, Ward seems to be pretty heavy on that left foot, and Bronson's not getting tired.
Bronson looks good right here, in good position. Nice
That
snap down.
You see, I mean, that's just horsepower,
Yep.
right? You know, a kid that's in shape, that's doing the right things. Not saying that Ward isn't,
right.
But when he's doing the right things to that level.
You know, I love a snap down, and what looked like just
snap down. Go
absolutely.
Behind, right? One of them.
Well, but what looks like just sheer will of power snapping somebody down. There's a lot of positioning going on there, and that was a good snap down. And that he protected his right leg. I mean, it's easy to snap a guy right into a double leg.
Right.
And he took care of his feet on that snap down, and hopefully that'll seal the match for him. He's up 8-4 with 10.
Bearing a roll and something crazy, he's got this match locked up and was in trouble, you know, big trouble. You know, you kind of need a match like that going through just to keep you, keep your head level and
I agree.
keep yourself realizing I need to be aware of my position all the time. And look, I'm still bouncing around. He's ready to go run about 5 miles right now.
The gazelle out on the plane that doesn't get scared once in a while doesn't live very long.
Hey,
how's that? Does that work? Does that work?
Yeah,
Come on.
that works. That looks. Hey, speaking of Whitehall Vikings, here comes Caleb Venema. It looks like he's going to wrestle a Viking in this match.
Thor coming out?
I don't know what island this guy's from, but he's definitely of Nordic stature.
He's from Algonac, Mike Nikoriak. He's
Are
national.
you sure that's Nidoriak? It's not Nordic?
Nidoriak? Nordicadak?
Yeah, he looks like...
Hey, man, if I can't use the gazelle analogy, you can't be throwing around Nordic...
Listen, man. I'm just saying, this guy looks like 100% pure Viking. And there's that famous
weird
shot off the whistle, and there is the... Well, let's see if Caleb pulls him in here. Gotta be patient there. Maybe go to a cradle.
He could.
And another touchdown by Michigan for those of you at home that are watching wrestling instead of football. Roman Wilson with
That's
the
his second touchdown. Second touchdown for Roman Wilson.
6 for the Michigan Wolverines.
I forgot for a minute I was a Michigan fan now.
They used the referee there as a pick.
Cheating Wolverines.
Favorite. Hey, you either hit him in the face or he ducks. You catch the ball. For
One of the two.
So 2 takedown there for Venema while we were talking about the Wolverines.
It happens. Venema to a tight waist. They're going to slide out of bounds.
Fresh start here.
Can you stack somebody with a...
Caleb can stack anybody.
I believe that to be true.
But I don't know if there's a rule about a hairnet, but I would assume that with that long a hair, they don't have a hairnet rule no more, Coach?
I don't think so.
Coach Tiedema just let me know they don't have the hairnet rule anymore. So, yeah, well, and we know that, right? Coach Tiedema is if there was a hairnet rule, Coach Brunger would be making sure that either his hair was cut or he had the hairnet on, right? Brunger. Yeah, and Eric, being the veteran official he is,
he would
definitely
not
let that fly. With his crew cut, you can tell he's probably one of those ones that frowns upon long hair.
High and tight.
Yeah.
High and tight.
I mean, Brunger's notorious in the country for sticking to the rules. He's made people shave, made people,
Is he a stickler?
He's a stickler.
There's a 2-point tilt for Venema.
Another 2.
I listened to Flow Wrestling podcast, and they had quite an argument about who is and who isn't a rules guy. Mark Brunger's a rules guy.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic in college wrestling right now, especially at the Division I level with NIL. Hearing some crazy things of kids that I know that have gone on recruiting trips and getting offered money for.
I don't think that was the spirit of that rule.
No.
There's Venema with a chicken wing.
It looks like we're gonna get a.
Oh, he lost the wing on the top.
Oh. But yeah, there's some funny stuff going on right now, and not a lot of regulation. I feel like the NCAA's kind of taken their hands and said, well, you wanted it, you deal with it.
And an escape with 4 seconds left.
Oh, we've seen that before.
We have seen that before.
We've also seen them pin him in the second period.
We have seen that before, too.
We're not worried about it. But, yeah, so, I mean, that's definitely, I'm glad you brought that up, Craig, because that's a pretty hot topic right now in NCAA sports with the new NIL. And, you got people on both sides of it, but at the end of the day, you're going to have, like you said, you got your rules guys.
Yep.
And you got your guys that are going to bend the rules, but hopefully not break them. But
well, it sounds like that was a pretty good mat return.
Yeah, I don't like that on the shoulder, that's for sure.
It seems that the NIL rule, it seems like a thing that's going to work out pretty well for a handful of guys. It's not really going to change much for the vast majority of guys.
No.
Except for what you're talking about, what's going on behind closed doors on the recruiting front.
I mean, I've heard, and it was validated that certain schools have offered kids $80,000 a year just in NIL money for wrestling, and that's not how that works.
No.
So.
Well, in a world of haves versus have-nots, I can't imagine the University of Wyoming is offering kids that kind of money.
No. Well, but that's the thing is that you got a booster, right, that is got money and is saying, well, hey, we'll say it's for this and blah blah blah. And it's just you got corners being cut, and it all comes out eventually, but it's just so new that it's been a interesting process. I know the one thing that attracted Ira and I to Michigan was they were by the book. Like we even had that conversation, and it was like everything was by the compliance office and everything, and it just gives you peace of mind as a parent. Sending your kid to a school like that. I would have been real leery of a school that was offering NIL money to Ira, but
right. That's
Looks like we might get some points here. No.
Wasn't a lot to talk about that period.
No, and I kind of figured that that's where it was going to go, so we just went down that rabbit hole with the NIL. So. But I'll tell you what, there's one you would want to listen to, Craig, is Willie Saylor on Matt Scouts. He did a podcast about that, and he touched on some of the stuff going on. He don't hold back. It's really nice. He's good, really good with that.
Venema back on top, right to a cross wrist. I think he has the wrist on the left side. Now he's matchsticked over the left ankle. Nikoriak, pretty good wrestler.
He's tough. And it looks like they're both pretty tough on top, but looks like Caleb was the one to be able to get the turn here.
I have a feeling this is going to end up back on their feet at some point.
It could. It could. It just depends. It looks like Caleb's got that wrist. I think Caleb would prefer they don't get back on their feet. But we'll see how that plays out. Go to that side.
Nikoriak to his butt. We're in a hand fight now.
There we go.
Oh, and now he's across the wrist.
This might be trouble for Nikoriak if he's fatigued at all.
Well, Venema on the 2-on-1 now. He was controlling the wrist with just a 1-on-1, but now it's 2.
This is not a position you want to be in if you're wrestling Caleb Venema, is giving him your wrist. And
especially down 3 with under a minute. Okay, we lost the wrist.
There comes that bundle that we talked about. Old man Powers out there yelling out the time. And here comes Junior out on the mat ready to tap.
We're going to be void at 285 from SC4. It was 4-1 at the end of the first period, and it's 4-1 at the end of the third.
Looks like we might give up one here.
I told you they were going to get back to their feet, and I was right by 2 seconds. And that's the ball game.
5-2 will be the final with riding time for Caleb Venema. That'll put the Jayhawks up 39-3.
Venema didn't have a favorite book either, by the way.
Well, you were his teacher in middle school, so that's your fault.
I instilled in him a love of reading. We're going to see a little bit more of.
So we took a void there at heavyweight, so that makes the final score 45-3 for the Jayhawks over SC4. And just a dominant day by the Jayhawks so far. They've given up a grand total of 6 points in duels. Combined score right now is 93-6.
It's pretty good math.
Yeah.
We're going to see an extra match here.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. This
Bueno
versus Duluth, which a Lowell product. At one point, Duluth was nationally ranked while in high school.
Oh, wait. I was just kidding about that.
Oh, that was the
Duluth
void.
is going to take the void.
I think he's going to take the void and wrestle.
Little flex coming off the mat from Duluth.
Duluth was a little disappointed. He was looking to avenge a loss today that he took in the state quarterfinals to a kid that's wrestling for SC4. What's his name? Can't think of his name. Yeah, they didn't bring him today, but the kid ended up taking second in Tyler's weight class his senior year. He was really looking forward to putting hands on him again because that was a tight match. So he'll have to wait till the conference tournament, I think. But
where was that kid from?
Imlay City was the other kid. I can actually look it up real quick. We got time.
Well, Bueno was in kind of a war with
Yeah, with Trim there.
Trim.
You know, and Trim started the year at 97 and is moving his way up to heavyweight now. I think he could fill out into that weight class. You know, as well as he moves, he could do some damage there.
Duluth, though, is a different style wrestler than Trim. Be interesting how this plays out.
Definitely more active. You know, but you know, he took a year off after high school, and sometimes that takes a little bit to get back in the swing of things. You know, it's typically, you know, Coach Tito and I noticed that when we'd pick up guys that had taken a year off, it took about till second semester that they were back into what they were before. Sometimes they never got it back, but you know, a lot of times it'd be second semester and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh. For Benny Gomez, for a guy like that, it was second year. You know, he had to put some size on, but then ended up in the national finals. Any other year he'd have been a national champ, but he ended up wrestling a guy that placed 8th in the worlds that decided to come over from Uzbekistan and go to some school in the middle of Wyoming. Surprise, surprise. Apparently that's a thing now. We just like to get Mongolians and people
Uzbeks?
from Uzbekistan to come wrestle junior college and win a title for us.
I'll volunteer
to see in the corner, right? A coach sitting there, you know, barking out stuff. Yes, that's good. And then the other guy, the translator, is speaking Mongolian to the guy, and then the coach is like doing the whole John DuPont thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
like they bring
coach.
Like they bring personal trainers over.
Oh yeah, they bring. Well, they're basically their wrestling partners. One of the guys that actually wrestled for Northwest Kansas Tech, he ended up going to I want to say Oregon State and started for them Division I. I think it was a match away from All-American a couple years back. But
well, if the Jayhawks are looking for somebody to volunteer to go over to Europe and do some scouting and recruiting, I speak just a little German.
You know, France doesn't usually produce a lot of good wrestlers. I know that's where you'd like to go.
Well, I'll start there. I don't have to finish there. I'll start there and work my way east.
Germany really has kind of taken a nosedive when it comes to wrestling, too, so that's not much help either.
Well, I wouldn't finish there either. I got to get behind the Iron Curtain? Is that what you're suggesting?
You need to learn some Russian. You need to learn some Mongolian. Azerbaijan.
I don't know any of those. But I'm very personable. I feel like I could bring somebody back. Maybe not a wrestler, but I could bring somebody back.
Yeah, I'm not even going to touch that one. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Maybe that'll be my retirement gig.
A different kind of harvesting, Chris.
Europe and Asia, I'll cover it all.
Looks like Bueno is comfortable with the over and unders, but so is Tyler Duluth. And
I think Duluth knew what was going to happen there.
Duluth's a little bit more experienced. You know, Duluth has wrestled freestyle and Greco. You know, wasn't always his best thing, but
he's in a can opener right now.
He is. And when Duluth is the type of wrestler where if he sees blood in the water, he's going to go for the kill. You know, he's just aggressive when he knows he's got an advantage over somebody. So
this could get sticky. Oh, came out. Bueno has some good hips. Of course, he's back on his back.
And I think at this point he's like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Enough of that. I did my best move there, and this kid somehow still got out of it, and now I'm on my back again?
Yep.
Let's just call it a day. This ain't even a real match. It's an exhibition. I'm done.
How many? Yeah.
Right? So
I think that's going to do it for our duel with SC4.